Ah, the sound of the 90s. I remember when I was growing up, whenever the family would come to visit, it wouldn't be long before we gathered around the PlayStation. It was a golden age of local multiplayer games, and even to this day when we tend to favour board games, we would never pass an opportunity to gang up on my uncle. The real challenge was finding a game that would be able to get my mum involved. For this to happen, it would normally require something novel, like a dance mat, an iToy, or a Wii. Whenever she did get involved, inevitably she would have fun and it would be a really memorable experience. And for me, that's the important thing. The reason I do what I do and make all these little digital things, it's all about creating fun and memorable experiences. Fast forward to 2018. I've been a games design graduate for 2 years. I create virtual reality experiences for a living, and that still blows my mind that that's a thing. But in my personal life, I'm yet to finish and release a project. I had the classic problem of starting something new and getting bored or distracted by another shiny project, and then even that project finds its way into the folder of other graveyard projects. But all that changes today, because today I'm going to talk about the project publicly. And if I talk about the project publicly, that means I've got to finish it, right? My name is James, and this is the story of how I did or perhaps didn't release my latest project, but I thought it would be cool to document it along the way. So here it goes. So I actually began working on this project, a game with dice, maybe 2 or 3 months ago, and it almost ended up in the abandoned pile of projects. But to be honest, actually, it did end up in the abandoned pile of projects, and it's one of the few that have ever came back out of it. There was something I quite liked about the project. It was quite kind of small in scope, and I thought it kind of had a bit of potential there. It was something I could see the beginning and the end of, and it was something I thought that I could complete in a relatively short time. So because I've started filming this documentary thing in the middle of the development, I thought it would be a good idea just to show you where the ideas tend to start before I show you where the project currently is. And my projects tend to start with this. This is my notebook. It's leather bound because I'm kind of a big deal, and it's got a picture of an elephant on because elephants are cool, and it was handmade in India. Inside the book, I like to scribble down ideas. Sometimes they take form and become games. Other times they just remain ideas within the book. Sometimes I might sketch something and later turn it into an art piece or perhaps a series. If I have an idea and I like it enough, it makes its way into this book. The book's sort of an elevator pitch. I try and keep each idea to a single page. If it spills over to another, it's potentially too complicated and needs refining. Here's a handy recreation of how I come up with my ideas, such as a game for dice. I sit down, I put on my thinking hat, and I start pulling random bullshit from the air. Okay, in all honesty, ideas never really come to me this way. Ideas tend to come to me when I'm trying to sleep. My brain decides that it's prime time to start shouting and screaming ideas instead of shutting down. Then, of course, there's the other golden idea generation location, which is, for everyone else, known as the shower.
This was a triumph, making another huge success. I can't remember the rest of the words now.
Yeah, that's probably enough of that. The reason I began this video talking about PlayStation games isn't because I'm about to start on some journey of a big local multiplayer game. That would currently be out of scope. It's actually because A Game with Dice was inspired by one of the few games I'd catch my mum playing on her own, and that game was Devil Dice. Devil Dice saw these cute little devils rolling dice, creating chains of matching values. Rather than having little characters run around the dice, what if the user were to simply tap on a dice and then flick it in a direction? The simple interaction of swiping and chaining dice together would be enough of an idea for me to begin working on a prototype. That prototype? Well, we'll talk about that next time. For now, thanks for watching.
Whoa!